I wasn't looking for a miracle that night. I was just a restless man with a key card and a million thoughts walking the quiet halls of Harrington Pacific because security heard noises on 8, pushed open the women's restroom door, and saw a little girl curled on the tile with toilet paper for a pillow. She looked up at me like she'd already done the math on adults and said, "Are you going to charge me rent for using the restroom?" And I swear the word safe changed shapes in my head right then. I'm Cole Harrington. The papers call me a hard case, the board calls me decisive. But in that moment, I was a man kneeling on a cold floor, asking a kid why she chose that corner of the world. She told me her name was Lily and said the lock on a stall felt safer than home, you know what I mean. Sometimes safety is not a system, it's a latch that works. I took her to the cafeteria, warmed a grilled cheese, watched her eat fast, like the food might time out on her, leaving a corner of the sandwich untouched, as if finishing it would invite trouble. "If I eat everything at my uncle's," he says. "I'm greedy," she said without drama, just reporting the weather of her life, and I felt something old and heavy shift in my chest. That's when Victor and Tessa showed up. Nice clothes, sharp edges, the kind of smiles that never reach the eyes, marching in with security on their heels. "She ran away. We're family," Victor said while reaching for Lily's arm. Tessa added a concerned tone like she'd practiced it in a mirror. "We don't want a scene," Mr. Harrington handed her over, and Lily, small but steady, said, "The bathroom floor was warmer than their apartment," which sucked all the air out of the room in one breath. I stepped between them, because sometimes leadership is just putting your body in the doorway, told them she wasn't leaving tonight. Told them we'd sort it out in the morning. And when Victor leaned in with that blade in the voice line, "You don't have the right," I answered the only way that felt true. "In this building I do, yeah. That happened, and it surprised even me." After Lily fell asleep in the guest lounge holding a throw pillow like a life preserver, I sat in my office with the city laid out like a circuit board and searched our archives for the name she'd given me earlier, Camila Ortiz. And there it was, a memory and a file. Camila, the architect who argued on principle and still brought you tea at 5, a draft email. She never sent that, read like a flare in the night. "If the truth gets out, they'll try to make sure I never speak again. And let me tell you, rich or broke, a line like that will freeze your heart in place." By sunrise, the rumor mill had a headline with my face under it. "CEO hides child in office." And the board packed a room with worry, our stock chart bleeding a soft red that makes adults talk in absolutes. My deputy, Sloane Carter, in a cream suit, sliding a folder toward me. Voice calm, like a nurse with a needle. "Coal optics matter. Call the state distance of the company," which is reasonable language when your hands are clean, but I had seen how Lily held that pillow and how she scanned doors before she sat down, and I knew the neat solution would be a slow harm. I called my attorney, Nate Delgado, a man who doesn't flinch when people raise their voices, and he went straight at the paperwork Victor had filed, tapping the notary seal that sat crooked, pointing at a signature date stamped on a state holiday when the office would have been closed. "They got this notarized at a ghost desk," he said, "dry as dust and twice as useful." And then he pulled bank records that showed withdrawals from Lily's parents' life insurance 1 week after the crash. And if motive had a smell, you could have caught it in the hallway. Meanwhile, Lily kept disarming gravity with jokes, pretending to sign my contracts, pacing like a tiny executive with her hands clasped behind her back, smiling as armor until the moments she thought no one was watching, and all the light leaked out of her eyes. "Why do you smile all the time?" I asked, trying not to step on landmines. "Because if I don't, they think I'm weak," she said, chin on her fist. "And if you're weak, you don't last," which is the kind of sentence that sits in your ribs and won't move. The lobby turned into a camera pit. The next day, Victor and Tessa staging outrage for microphones, calling me a kidnapper with a nice tie. And I would have stayed silent if Lily hadn't stepped forward. Voice like a clear bell, cutting fog. I'd rather sleep on a bathroom floor than go back to you. And I felt the building breathe. The maintenance staff started clapping, careful at first, then louder, and Sloane drifted in like a peacemaker. Let the courts decide, she said, neutral on the surface, colder underneath if you knew how to read weather. Court came fast because that's how people corner you. We walked into Oak and Echoes. Judge Eleanor Park with eyes that missed nothing, Victor selling blood is blood. With a steady baritone, Tessa dabbing at dry eyes, and then Sloane testifying with a tone I had heard 1,000 times in budget meetings, reasonable, measured. Cole is generous, but emotional. He kept the girl, without contacting authorities, created risk, and I understood in one cold moment that a person I trusted had already stepped off my side of the line. Nate stood and laid out the crooked seal, the holiday date, the insurance withdrawals, and the judge listened fair and firm. But when he tried to bring in Camilla's unsent email, she shook her head, not probative for custody, which is legal for not today, and the gavel seemed to tilt toward the smiling couple who said all the right words. That's when the twist walked in late, out of breath, wearing a jacket that had seen rain. Eamon Price, a supervisor from our Northline project I barely knew, laying a hard drive on the clerk's desk like it weighed 100 pounds. Camilla gave me this, told me to hand it over if something happened, he said, voice shaking, but steady underneath. And when Nate plugged it into the projector and the waveform throbbed on the screen, we all heard Camilla's voice fill that room, calm and unyielding. If we cut the materials again, the columns will fail. This isn't about budgets, it's about human lives. A pause. Then another voice, cooler, controlled, unmistakable, Sloane's. No one will know if you stay quiet, but if you open your mouth, an accident will find you. And you could feel the benches lift an inch as people inhaled at the same time. Sloane said, fabricated. Eamon said I was there. The judge called recess to check chain of custody, and when she came back, her face looked like duty, not theater. She ruled the audio. Admissible, recognized the witness as credible, stripped Victor and Tessa of guardianship. Pending investigation, referred Sloane to the DA with the phrase, probable cause for threats and fraud, then turned to me and granted temporary custody with expedited review, citing Lily's direct fear and the risk signs in her home. And I didn't feel triumphant. I felt a small hand squeeze mine and heard a small voice say, into my shirt, and yeah, that happened. And if you want to know what broke me, it wasn't the gavel, it was that word. The headlines flipped overnight, because headlines do that. Villains were marched out of nice houses. The board tried to balance accountability and survival, and I did the work. I should have done earlier. I cleaned house, opened the books, and built something new with Camilla's name on it. A fellowship that funds safety-first design so we don't have to hear another recording like that again. And Lily stopped leaving corners of sandwiches uneaten because her body finally believed tomorrow would come. Years fly if you're not careful one day. You're warming milk at midnight the next. You're standing at a university graduation, clapping too hard for your knees, while Lily crosses the stage in a blue gown with a degree in structural engineering. And when she hugs me after whispering, I did it into my shoulder, I say, what's true, you did it. I just walked beside you. We pass our lobby later where Camilla's portrait hangs with this line etched under it. Integrity is the only foundation that won't crack. And people tell me I look different, softer, like grief. Finally loosened its hands, but some nights I still walk the 8th floor and check the latch on that restroom door, not because I'm scared of who might come in, but because I promised a kid she was safe here, and some promises you keep on Tuesdays with no cameras. There's one more thing people argue about when they hear this. They ask why I visit Sloane once a year in prison, and the answer is not redemption. Tourism, it's a reminder that intelligence without conscience will always try to sell you efficiency as mercy. I ask her one question, why? And she never answers, which is its own answer, and I leave more sure than ever that cutting corners doesn't make you sharp. it makes you dangerous. So yeah, that's how a bathroom floor turned into a bridge, how a kid with a quick wit and a tired smile taught a man with too many titles what family actually means, not blood, by default, but the person who shows up, stands in the doorway, and stays when it gets ugly. And if that bothers you, good, maybe it should. Tell me what you think. Really think. Was I right to keep Lily that first night, or should I have made the clean call and let the system handle it? Is blood a trump card, or is family the one who protects you? When the crowd wants a headline, have you seen corners cut? Because no one will know, and did anyone speak up, but does justice that shows up late still count? Or is late justice just a different kind of loss? Drop your take, your stories, where you're watching from, and the moment that hit you hardest. Because the way we argue this out, with honesty, with receipts, with empathy, is how we make sure the next kid finds a locked door that opens to a better room.